Are we live?
We're live.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it.
So today is Mental Health Day, and after all the COVID beep that we've had to deal with for the last how long? Since
Why'd you just say it?
2020?
You have a bleeper.
This guy is beeping
I don't know
himself.
why you're bleeping yourself out for.
it's fun to do that. Yeah.
Beep.
I gotta ask you guys. Were you guys concerned about your mental health before this whole pandemic?
Less so,
Yeah.
but a little bit.
On occasion. Yeah, on occasion I was like, take care of myself a little bit, but
Gross.
the pandemic's really taken away my ability to do those things that
Take care of yourself.
yeah, my stress relieving
This is going on all the wrong paths right now.
activities. Like I used to like to work out, you know, and we were in much better shape before this. Actually, Adam's doing a pretty good job because he's now embraced a healthier diet, and that is 90% of the work towards having a better body
Yeah.
and even better mental health. Actually,
I'm gonna be ready for the beach.
yes.
I mean, I just got a new gym membership. That means anything.
Oh, well, that's good.
Well,
Congrats.
I gotta say though,
I haven't gone yet, but
have you guys talked with anybody else concerned about their mental health on this Mental Health Day?
I had an argument with some people about how restrictions and lockdowns are quite bad for that.
That is true.
They didn't agree.
They didn't agree, even though there's evidence to suggest that. I just guess because it's not heavily in the news or almost at all, we can just assume that it doesn't exist because the news doesn't report about it.
Well, generally they just spew hospital and ICU numbers at me in return until I give up.
I talked with a guy recently who I wasn't sure if the woman that he knew was a good friend of his or if it was an actual person that this guy had dated. But he had told me that he had reached out to this person because he hadn't talked to her in so long, and he was going through some things, and she was really close in his life. And he found out that this woman, the day after one of the lockdowns was announced, had attempted to kill herself, and she is now hospitalized and possibly permanently hospitalized.
From that attempt?
Yeah, from attempting to kill herself.
That's terrible.
The day after a lockdown was announced. Not lockdown, but I think it was just new restrictions.
Like the first one, or
No, this was can't remember. It was within the end of the last year here in 2021. So it's occurring more recently, and I also talked with what do you call it? A mortician that was collecting a body, and they have a friend whose job was to collect or clean gruesome sites after crimes or gruesome deaths. And he told me that his friend is going out about 10, 12 times in a 2-week period, as opposed to like the 3 or 4 times that he would normally go out and have to clean up gruesome deaths because of suicides and whatnot.
and yet we don't hear about that.
Yeah, because no one wants to hear about that.
Because they can't fix it with a lockdown.
They can't fix it with a mental health day even. They don't even talk about these kind of things that mental health day should be about.
Yeah, but I mean, it definitely leads to the need for a solution. And it leads to the need for people to not be just told to stay home and suck it up.
Yeah.
Like, mental health is such a serious topic that just it seems to get, I don't want to say forgotten about, but before all this even, how often was it brought up? right? It was only talked about during this month, January, because mental health month or mental health day or whatnot. And now with how it's been with the restrictions and with the pandemic being here, it's just like those before who didn't think they had a mental health issue, I think everybody's kind of now has a mental health issue, no matter what it is, no matter if it has to do with staying home or just being at work or having to be cautious all the time. It's affecting your mental health.
Yeah, I think also the amount of fear that has been put, brainwashed into people, is causing this high stress level, and people are just far too worried about
Everything.
everything. We need to relax a little bit and realize that we're gonna live and we're gonna get hurt and we're gonna die at some point, and we can only mitigate so much, and we don't need to freak out.
And we'll probably get sick a couple times along the way.
Yeah.
As we have already.
We're gonna get more sick as we stress out.
Yeah.
It's exactly what makes you sick, is being stressed.
We gotta learn to just live life and relax a little bit, people.
Agreed. It's not easy though.
I mean, it's not easy if you're diagnosed with bipolar disorder or something like that. I understand those conditions, and I understand what it's like if you have other anxiety problems or what have you, right? I mean, anybody can go and get some nice CBD from the Farmer Jane there, or they can go get something a little bit more stronger on the pharmaceutical branch, or you can control your diet and you can work out and find better outlets, whether you meditate or whatever it is. Cold showers, some people like those cold showers. I've tried that in the past. I don't like that.
I would not try that.
Nope.
Sounds awful.
It is not comfortable, but you know what, it does do something to your body.
It makes it
up.
cold.
It does. I never tried it for that long. I tried it after the gym a little bit, and I found that the cold showers did do something to make your brain focus a little bit more on your body and less on the anxiety in your head.
I'm going to take your word for that.
I did not try it for that long. It was only a couple of times.
He was our guinea pig.
Yes. Thank you for testing that.
We appreciate your service.
It's true. But hey, if you have these conditions, don't worry about it. Do the best you can. Try new things to mitigate your mental health issues that you're going through, and talk to people, right? Talk to your friends. Nobody's in this, well, not nobody, but most people are accepting and tolerant of people's mental health conditions, right?
I just feel that it's important that mental health gets talked about and that no one is afraid to actually say what they are going through. Again, a lot of people kept it under wraps. They kept it hidden. They didn't say much about it. They didn't want to get judged. They didn't want to get, ridiculed for having mental health. No one really knew what it was. But not anything like anxiety, depression, that kind of symptoms or those kind of conditions, I guess you could say, they're a symptom of mental health. It doesn't matter really anymore at this point. Mental health. And this pandemic has, I feel, it's shown everyone, shown me even, that we can all suffer from it. We all have some form of mental health conditions that we may not be aware of.
Yeah, and not too long ago there was quite a stigma around the subject. I mean, people would be afraid even at work to admit that they were having an issue because it could affect future employment and stuff like that. It's really not long ago that was an issue. Now it's become more. It's come more into the light. People talk about it more, as we've said, and it is becoming more widely accepted that it affects quite a few people.
Yeah, you guys, that is true. And I want everyone to know, take care of yourself with your good diet, good health practices, good exercise, both physically, mentally. Thank you for those opinions. You're right, Michael Lee. I want to say something else, though. These pandemic measures, they definitely are affecting everyone's mental health. We all pretty much agree on that. But we have something else occurring right now. We got a great big convoy rocking through the night. And it's headed to Ottawa. You guys heard about this?
Sure did. Didn't it pass through here?
It did. What are we
Yes.
talking about, Adam?
The trucker convoy.
I heard it's called the Freedom Convoy 2022.
Well, freedom's your favorite word. I didn't want to take it away from you.
Thank you. But yeah, have you guys heard about how this started and when it started and exactly why these truckers are headed over to Ottawa?
I believe they're opposing the vaccine mandates, are they not?
They are totally opposed to this new mandate that I'm not sure if it's come out yet or it's
It came in effect January 15th.
Is it the 15th? Yeah. So, yeah, it's both U.S. and I think it's actually when they come back from the U.S. they have to isolate or something, or they can't even come back.
I think they cross the border. They got to isolate for 14 days.
Yeah, because they're not vaccinated.
Yes.
Going which way? Into Canada or into
When
the
they come
US?
back into Canada.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder why we have supply chain issues.
Is it time to do like the UK, like we were talking about, and probably just forget about these mandates as Omicron and BA2 and all that is becoming less and less significant, and we've had these truckers working throughout this pandemic entirely without these mandates? Why are we worried about these mandates to be?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, how far are we into this pandemic and all of a sudden we're imposing that now? Why?
Yes.
Why are we doing that now? It's like, there's talk of supply chain issues. Well, this is a good way to shoot ourselves in the foot and make it worse, which leads me to the question of how is this helping?
Yeah, I think the only reason it's being done and the only person it's really helping is our supreme leader.
Ah, yes, Supreme Overlord Trudeau.
Yeah, he's just trying to take control. They're obsessed with taking control of everybody's freedom by mandating all these methods of how we should live our lives. We've already determined that from previous discussions how effective these vaccines are, and yes, they're effective, but they're not going to stop the spread of this virus. So if it's not a vaccine where you take it and you'll never be infected again, then why are we worried about these truckers? And especially these truckers who are, for the most part, sitting for hours, longer than any of us normally work, sitting in their own truck, spreading the virus between themselves. That's not possible.
Now, keep in mind, they did say that I think about 90% of the truckers are actually vaccinated. So keep that in mind.
A high number is,
The high number is vaccinated of the truckers. I don't quite understand myself why they're doing this all of a sudden.
Control.
Yeah, yes, the control, sure. They're also taking away the focus from everything else. Now the focus is shifted to this convoy that's going across Canada instead of the actual problem we have at hand. I also found that, did you see how much money they raised as well too? The GoFundMe online. I think it was set at $6 million. Last time I checked, they were like at $5.5 million, and it's supposed to be going towards lodging, gas, anything that the truckers basically have to do while they're doing this convoy. And everybody's got to submit receipts just to make sure that they actually get the proper money to the proper
This
people.
is saying a lot, though, right?
Yeah, like
people
it's really...
are embracing this protest, this form of protest. So, like, is anything going to actually change? I don't know. But the more and more people jump on this, there's politicians agreeing to support this, and there's some denouncing it. But I mean, how many times in this pandemic have we actually seen politicians starting to call for some form of the end of lockdown measures and restrictions? We haven't really seen that in this country, have we?
Really, they're going to wait until a certain majority of people are clearly on the side of that, and then you'll see politicians that jump on board and act like it was all their brilliant idea.
This convoy is definitely leading a lot of people to embrace the no mandate protest and philosophy. We're discovering that, like, At this point, the people who have been vaccinated have chosen to get vaccinated, and the people who haven't are not likely to. And there's not much reason to force these people and create such division in our country. It's not going to be any more helpful. We've already seen several countries and mostly countries that have mandated vaccines, and they still have similar transmission rates and problems with these viruses. So,
Well, the current vaccines don't really slow the transmission.
yeah.
They just tend to be more protective against a severe illness. But transmission is happening regardless. So that's why I go back to my question, like how is this helping? It's not slowing any transmission, so what is it helping? Nothing. It's not helping at all. It's just creating.
It's making it worse.
Yeah, it's just creating more problems for people, more mental health problems, more division, more people blaming everyone else for everything. It's just all around causing a very bad situation in the middle of an already bad situation.
Yeah.
Well, this convoy culminates, I believe, on Saturday. They're all going to arrive on Parliament Hill. Do we expect to see anything on Saturday? Will people stay tuned? Will the news all gather around and actually question this movement? And will we actually see any movement from our politicians after Saturday if we see enough people? Like, I heard some ridiculous numbers of people who were going to be showing up to this protest. Like, some people are saying 50,000, some people are saying 500,000. Oh, I don't know how many are going to be there, but there's definitely across this country millions of people who agree with the truckers, and they're just not voicing their opinions. But I've had conversations with most people, and they're under the same philosophy as us. People are going to choose to be vaccinated, and there's not much more reason to, at this point, to suffer in our society for a vaccine that's not going to be effective against transmission. It's basically a personal choice. We have to deal with our healthcare system. Sure, we talked about that. But is this going to be the beginning of a movement towards freedom and restrictions being lifted?
One would hope.
I guess we'll wait and see on Saturday.
We'll just have to see what happens.
You know what I gotta say though? Have you guys watched the news and seen our lovely opposition leader in the federal system?
Mr. O'Toole?
Aaron O'Toole. Have you guys witnessed the media ask him questions about this trucker convoy?
I have not. Please fill me in.
Oh man, the guy cannot answer the simple question as to whether he supports the trucker mandate or the
trucker mandate.
He's not been able to answer the question whether he supports this trucker convoy or not, despite the fact that a couple of weeks ago he had already criticized Justin Trudeau for creating this vaccine mandate for the truckers. So he's had a stance. The media is asking him to clarify whether he supports this truckers or not, and whether he'll actually talk with them. The guy can't answer a simple, straight question to whether or not he supports them and will talk with these protesters. Is that any good for a leader who can't actually stand up for a value either way?
Well, it seems like he's not going to be a leader over there that much longer now anyways. I think he's flip-flopped on too many issues, and he's really losing all the confidence of the party. Definitely lost mine.
I gotta say, I am a card-carrying conservative, and I decided to vote for that guy because he was saying all the right things, and he sounded good. And then what did he do immediately towards the federal election after he became leader? He reversed course on a lot of things he said. And at that point, I know we were discussing, well, give him a chance. He's trying to embrace the left and get some of their vote. But what happened?
That conservative party can be difficult too. There's a lot of division in there.
Yeah, parties on the right, they definitely struggle to hold together. But what I'm saying is, he became a liberal light party and therefore didn't stand on strong, solid values or policies that conservatives had wanted him to stand for. So immediately flip-flopping just turned around the opinions of most conservatives, a lot of them turning towards the more conservative party.
The People's Party?
Maxime Bernier's party, yes.
Isn't that the Green Party?
No, they're done.
No,
The
I don't know.
Green
This is why I don't talk in these
The
types.
Green Party is
Topics.
definitely different than the
He's
racism party that he's talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah, the Maxime Bernier's party is far more conservative. He's a former conservative in the federal conservative party.
Disregard my comment.
But a lot of people have voted towards his party because he was standing up for freedom a long time ago already. And I think a lot more conservatives may look his way. And I don't know how that will play out in a federal election. But I mean, if you have no values...
It'll play out with more liberals in charge.
Yeah, probably.
More of the crap that we are already enduring.
Exactly. And a split up conservative party again.
Yeah, which just means more liberals in charge.
Well, is it time for that leader to go?
Mr. O'Toole?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he can't stick to a platform, if he can't give an answer and just stand by it, he's never going to get anywhere.
Our last conservative government came into power federally with five goal ideas. A platform, I should say.
5 of them.
Yeah. And they accomplished, I think, 4 out of the 5. And a lot of other things. But that party specifically had goals, and they were clear with their messaging. As much as the media tried to distract with those other social policies and what have you that they always try to distract when conservatives come about. If you just have a plan, people will listen and vote. And if you have the wherewithal to actually stand by your policies. That's not what's happening with this guy. He's got to go. We have a federal leader, right, that's running this country who's basically taking too much control and making our lives incredibly more expensive with this
Definitely
inflation.
Doing that, yeah.
And on top of that, with the green taxes that aren't really being helpful in terms of actual healthy green environmental sustainability policies.
Yeah.
So, is this trucker convoy gonna lead? Yeah, is this? I'm asking, is this going to lead us to a change in politics?
You tell me, because I don't know, but I hope so.
It will. I'm telling you guys right now, it will.
He's telling us. More breaking news from Spec.
But I gotta ask though, when you say it's going to lead to a change in politics, what exactly do you mean by that? Like, what's going to change? They're going to change the mandates you're thinking of? Are they going to change, like, the restrictions? Like, what are you talking about? What change?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Actually, that's a good point. I do think it's going to divide the right because they have values, and a lot of them have values for freedom. So what's going to happen is a divided right again, like Adam was saying, where they won't be able to form government, but you'll definitely have a party, or at least members in the current Conservative Party of Canada, that will vote for freedom and push for freedom, because this leader isn't standing up for anything, and party members are starting to stand up a lot louder than the actual leader is.
They should put Pierre Poilievre in
Poilievre.
Poilievre.
Yes.
Put him in front, and he can tell us all about inflation.
It's true.
He is really good at hammering that point home.
And that might be the best idea for that Conservative Party, because as we come out of this pandemic with the amount of inflation that we're all dealing with, and the rising cost of vehicles, groceries, homes, basically everything, right?
Everything.
Everything has gone up in price. If that Conservative Party wants to chase down the messaging on inflation, they might actually get a lot more of a listening to from the centrists that will help to decide the vote in a lot of areas.
That's fair.
That's a good idea for those conservatives, but I do think that the changes are going to be in that party. So, anyways, you guys, besides our speculations on policy,
Well, I heard
yes,
that in Quebec, you're going to have a vaccine passport to go to a box store.
You mean
Yes.
like groceries and stuff like that?
yes.
Oh my
I'll turn
gosh.
this one on you, Josh. What do you think about that?
Yes, it goes along with my question, or the question that Michael Lee just asked me. What kind of changes are we going to see? We see Quebec as being the most authoritarian province in our whole country.
They already are.
Yes, they tell people what they can and cannot wear in terms of their civil service.
What language they can speak?
Yes, what language they can write on their products, and they basically are now telling you. Well, I think they stopped telling you that you had to be in your house by 10 o'clock.
The curfew? I think it's
They've
gone.
been doing that. Yes, it's gone, but they've been doing that for forever. I don't think any other province in the country had a curfew saying go to bed and stop spreading the COVID in the middle of the night when it's most rampant.
Because that's just ludicrous that would happen in this country.
That also kind of sounds like the one they did when they said, "Oh, we have to close the bars at 10 p.m."
It's ridiculous, and the fact that a province is making people show these vaccine passports still, and especially for the necessities of life, eating and getting like your clothes and what next? You can't fill up your gas tank because like somebody might have sneezed on the lever when you're the pump handle when you're going to fill up for gas.
Do you need it for a grocery store?
Like, we've already had this discussion. We know that for the 3 seconds that you pass by somebody, you're not, and we're all wearing masks still here in this country pretty well. So you're not going to spread this virus for 3 seconds when you pass by somebody, okay? So having all vaccinated people spreading less germs through their masks is not going to be a problem. You do not need a vaccine passport to go to the grocery store. You know where we already know where transmission is occurring. It's occurring in the home. When a few of us come together like this and have a discussion and spit our germs into the air, that's the time when we're most likely to be infected. And we should all just put on those KN95 masks, and then we'd all be a lot safer, except if we were working for the post office, because they would just tell us to take those masks off and put the approved lesser quality ones on.
We'll all just walk around with those beaks on our face. Like N95 beaks.
Yeah, I mean, Quebec is simply the worst.
Explain Quebec.
It's simply the worst.
What are they doing?
Worser than all the rest.
I can't wrap my head around that the people there are okay with this happening. It's very confusing. I wish we could speak with someone from Quebec and maybe just explain what we're missing here. We must be missing something.
Yeah, you know what? I don't get it. Je ne sais pas.
Moi non plus.
Like,
I got nothing. So,
but really, I gotta say,
what do you got to say?
What do you have to say? If you have to say it, just come out and say it, man.
Also, by the way, you completely disregarded Adam's question earlier.
Yes,
about the grocery store and the mandates.
That was hilarious.
You just literally ignored him.
Do you need it for a grocery store?
You know what I think?
And here's what I think about people spitting around the room.
yeah, you're right. We need them for grocery stores, and we need them for basically entering your own house. You need
it to get into your house.
Yeah, you know what? If
That sounds made up.
Yeah, no. I think
that's
that
inaccurate.
transmission is like 30% through the home. So you know what? If you have a family member who's basically not vaccinated, just kick them out in the streets already, because that's what is the appropriate thing to do in this country, right?
Well, it's okay to just pin everything on someone who's not vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we don't need these vaccine mandates to go to the store. That is going to cause harm. There is going to be unfortunate situations at these stores with employees at No Frills or wherever people like to shop. Their supermarché. They're just gonna have what's the word? Conflicts.
They're gonna have to deal with belligerent people.
Yeah, and rightfully so on both accounts. I mean, people shouldn't be belligerent, but you should also not be telling people don't go to the grocery store if you don't have a vaccine mandate. I don't care if you need to eat food. No, that's just wrong.
Well, we have to get over vaccine passports anyways, because they are quite irrelevant now that people who are getting affected with Omicron are getting sick very easily and spreading everything very easily. So
the World Health Organization just recently said that we got to get past these vaccine mandates.
Listen, do they even know anything anymore?
They know a little bit.
They know who pays them.
They make a little bit of good suggestions once in a while. I think everybody does.
Once in a while. So what? We take one out of every 10 suggestions they make?
They might be right this time.
Yeah, they probably are. But my point stands.
They've been making this excellent point too, for a long time, and a lot of Westerners have disagreed because we all look after ourselves first. But they've been saying that the pandemic is just going to go on longer, while Westerners get 3 and 4 shots of the vaccines, and poor countries are not getting any vaccines, so they're just spreading the virus a lot easier. So vaccine mandates in Western countries, not the answer. The answer now is for countries to donate towards the poorer countries the money for these vaccines, so that people in those countries can get the vaccine, and then they can suffer a little less because they will have a little stronger so-called immunity, and the less chance for that virus to actually spread.
Allegedly.
But I mean, really, there's no answer here to worry about lockdowns anymore. I don't understand why Ontario, I think it was, had a business lockdown for 400 and something days, the longest in the entire world, I'm sure. Like, maybe not. Maybe China had some longer ones.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too sure about that.
But in terms of the Western world, it is the longest. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's businesses that are going to just drop out on the back end of this pandemic. We've seen so many businesses go out of business. Yeah, they went out of business. Businesses out of business.
No more business.
And what happened? Well, a lot of them dipped into their savings and they've got some funding and it's not really working out. So if we continue these stupid measures, you're just going to have less employment and poorer people. What's going to occur at that point?
More conflict.
More conflict. Yeah.
Definitely more conflict.
That's more conflict. And I guess the best thing to say here is people who support these mandates basically are supporters of big business and Amazon and don't really care about the entrepreneurs and little people that are just trying to get by.
That's one viewpoint. I would argue that they're less supporting of big business and more just afraid of getting sick and getting dead.
And
Getting dead, I like that.
That
I
is,
like where you said
I
that.
mean, it's an exaggerated fear that they have,
But it is a fear that they have.
Unfortunately, yes. But regardless of that, indirectly, you are supporting the big businesses when you suggest that we lock down all these small businesses, and the only people that can handle the hit of the economic impact of higher costs and higher or lesser employment abilities is the big businesses. So that's what we're doing now.
Yep, it is.
It makes me sad.
He's very sad.
It's Mental Health Day today, you guys. And the pandemic, just talking about it, is making me more sad. So what I gotta say to you guys is, work out, go distract yourself with some laughs, and pet your animals, your dogs and cats, because we have to stand up for our freedoms. We have to stand up for each other. It's the only way out of this pandemic, and it's the only way that we can truly have a healthy mind on this, the day in which we are concerned, and I should say, the day in which we are looking out for each other's mental health.
And go ahead and share your thoughts with us in the comment section about Mental Health Day, Freedom Convoys, and anything else that you think might help make Josh less sad.
Thank you, guys. And with that said, that's it for Leak Spec today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm going to say one more thing. Mental health is very important, and anyone listening or watching, don't be afraid to speak your mind. To if you've got mental health conditions going on, reach out. You know, whether you know us or not, reach out to us. We got our Instagram is on here. You know, those of us who know us, you can always reach out to us if you need someone to talk to. You just know that you're not alone, and there's people out there who will be there if you need someone to talk to about whatever is going on.